Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Rund. I'm
Hello,
Douglas.
August. Well, hey, August here, having a good time.
Always having a good time. I just did something awkward last weekend, and I started the transformation where I took the pictures of myself with my shirt
Oh
off
yeah,
from this
yeah,
side and from that side. It was
yeah.
very
I
cringy.
haven't done. I should have done it, a year ago when I was as big as I got. But
It's a hard thing to do. I mean, I remember it
well,
was just
it's
hard
it's
to
not even that it
mentally.
was no, for sure. And I mean, it probably would have been. I just didn't really even think about it. And like now that I'm, like 90 pounds down, I'm like, oh, I should probably
I
do
probably
that.
should have done that.
What? No, I mean, I should do it now because I'm still big, and I could still, I can still lose another legitimately like 150, 200, 200 pounds would be a lot.
Dude, if I lost 200 pounds, there would be no one on this camera right now.
Well, yeah, and if I lost 200 pounds, I'd still weigh more than you do.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, shit. Yeah, no,
I mean,
mine's definitely not lose weight. It's just gain it in specific areas. I need to
yeah,
train
and
specific
that's
areas.
not true. You weigh what, like 165, 170?
You're pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, once
yeah.
I
I'm really good at guessing weights.
also I have this thing that people tend to hate because weight tends to be a problem for a lot of people
Uh,
where I have not changed in fucking like since I was 15. I've
yeah,
fluctuated 20 pounds max. I'll
yeah.
go from 145 to 165, and I've been going back and forth since I was 15.
Some people just have it like that. Their metabolism's decent, and they don't eat or drink themselves fat.
I think the time period that I would have started gaining weight, and my metabolism slowing down, I got really strict on not eating garbage.
For sure, for sure.
Like, and I mentioned the
Yeah,
fast
I've
food thing in the last episode. I mean, there was a small period in time where I would allow myself to eat fast food, and then very quickly it was like watching people
it was
around me
out. Yeah,
change fast. It
so,
happens very quickly when you let it go.
absolutely. No, I mean my change was just so gradual, and because I went from like 17, 18 being overweight, but not like crazy overweight. I was
Mhm.
a little bit fat, and then at like 20, 21, 22, got just obsessed with working out and being in shape, and being a ridiculous, early
Yeah,
20s dude.
I'm
And
always moving, and I know that that plays a role. Is just
I mean,
constantly
I could ride
moving.
my bike 20 plus miles and like barely break a sweat at that age.
Yeah, and
And
if stress makes you lose weight, I know why my weight is in check for sure. Because I work the job in computers, and I'm always like, if I didn't have my heart so stuck on treating all the customers like they were my family, I wouldn't have any stress. But I act
yeah,
like their data is my data, and so if anything is not going the way it should,
you're
I'm
gonna be,
I'm sweating bullets as if I'm working on my own computer.
yeah. Well, and I mean that's actually a big reason that I kind of, for as many things as I miss about doing live theater, it's one of the things I don't miss is like the drama that's a part of that, because
Yeah,
I mean
the
it's called
timing.
drama for a reason.
They have
Like those
lots of it.
people are dramatic,
And
and
and they probably have that in their own personal lives if they're able to use it as their talent and take it on
well, yeah, I
stage.
mean, so like I was always pretty lackadaisical with, not with the acting part. I took that very seriously, but I didn't want to get involved in these people's real life drama. But when you see these people 3, 4, 5 nights a week for months at a time, you end up
Yeah.
getting drawn in as much as you try
My
to
my
avoid it.
dad
And
calls it going for the ride when you're
yeah,
listening to somebody's story or you're working with somebody and their emotions are going it's just like back and forth. And
oh,
another time going for the ride comes up is when something looks like it's solved in a computer problem and you bring it to the customer. And so everybody has this feel good of everything's going well, and then the machine blue screens again, or it starts having
yep.
the problem again after you've already thought you solved the
I mean,
problem. That's going
it's
for the
exactly
ride.
the same thing in car maintenance. Like you'll have a problem and you'll trace it down and be like, okay, yeah, well this was the problem and this could cause that, so we fix that. Car will be like, oh sweet, it's running great. You go out like, okay, I'm gonna take it for a drive. 3 miles in, same problem comes back, and you're like, okay,
The
so now I
noise
have to keep
returns.
tracing this same
Yeah.
thing down further down the road, and it's just
Yeah, I use the car analogies all the time for working on computers because it's very
yeah.
similar. Of I wish it wasn't just a shit ton of guess and check work, but it is just a shit ton of guess and check work.
The only time it becomes not with cars is like if you know a specific car so well that you can like hear the difference in what the car's doing and be like, okay, that sounds like it's a valve issue, but it's actually this pulley over here
Yeah,
gets
that's
a
right
tiny
next
bit
to
loose
it.
and causes that sound that you think is,
Yeah.
and then okay, yeah, you're good to go. You don't have to spend $1,500 for me to take
Uh,
the top of this engine apart. Like,
yeah, that is something that, it's kind of refreshing because once you get the checklist down, I talked about this on a previous podcast, is there is you can prove it's not this, it's not this,
yeah,
it's not this, and you can go
yeah.
through that checklist and you can eliminate what it is. And then there's a couple nightmare ones that are just like gremlins that are out to get you and you can't fucking
Well,
find it.
it's the funniest thing to me with computer stuff is so much of the time it will be some like weird gremlin that literally just turning it off and turning it back on again will fix. And
Yes,
you're like,
the
how at this stage? Like, I understand that working in 1995, but
yeah,
in
it's
2026,
like this
there's
is
still these issues that come up that it's like the code just goes and then you're like, no, just turn it off, turn it back on, and it'll blow right past that, no
yeah,
problem.
and what is it? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. That even doesn't work. I'm like driving
Yeah,
myself insane because there
yeah,
are problems where I'll do it 4 times and the fourth time it'll be different. And it's
yeah.
like that third time you're like, this is fucking stupid. It's definitely not that. And then you're like, oh yeah, but I remember that fourth time. And so I'll just do it again like I'm insane and then it'll work.
Oh,
And I'll be like, I don't know
my
what to tell you.
my parents would like call me the Fonz just because so many times in our house growing up there'd be something wrong with the TV or like the VCR wouldn't connect right or whatever. And I'd just walk over and like whack it or just jiggle the wire and boom, it would work. No problem. Everything's fine again. And they're like, "How do you do that every time?" Like my dad would spend half an hour trying to fix something. And I'd just walk in like, 12, 13 years old and just like, "Oh, this. Boop. Yeah, it works great."
Yeah, I learned that on Sega back in the day, and blowing
Yeah.
in the cartridge to make sure that there's dust
It's so
fragments that
bad
aren't
for
in
them,
it.
but hey, it works so well.
Yeah, no, it's pretty wild. And then because I've been in the field for so long, there's times where it'll just work for me, and it happens a lot where customers are like,
Hmm.
"What did you do?" And I have
Oh,
nothing.
I
I got
gotcha.
nothing. And I
Yeah.
usually say, "You didn't see, but I sprinkled a little bit of magic powder on it right before I turned it on." So. So
Yeah. No,
sometimes,
you got to start going.
hey,
Hey,
yeah, there you go. But
because most of your
otherwise,
customers will get that reference.
yeah, no, they would. But aside from that, it's frustrating at times because they want some fucking answers, and I want to give it to them. And I have a line for it where it's essentially, I'm a lot like a doctor. I
Yeah.
can fix the problem. I can fix the symptoms, but I can't tell you how you got sick. I
No.
don't know. I don't know where the hell it came from.
Where would you get to that? Yeah, like
Yeah, and because
all
everyone
I can
wants
do is
answers.
treat this, not.
Yeah, and that's where it's not like the car industry. I can't be like
Mhm.
pull out a physical thing and be like, "This was your problem." It was like,
Sometimes you can. Like
yeah, so
sometimes it is a hardware issue, but
yes, yes. Sometimes I can do that, but a lot of times it's like a corrupted file. And when you run
right,
a check disk, it's like found and corrected this many errors. It doesn't even tell you where the error is or
right,
where
right.
that file's located. So I got nothing. But it's also an
Yeah, that'll
interesting job
definitely.
as a result.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, again, I'm looking forward to getting back, into the remodeling field just because it's very cut and dry. Like, yeah, you will always run into something in remodels
You'll
where it's
run
like,
into some custom jobs and stuff like that.
yeah, a problem that is unforeseen. Like nobody had an idea that they ran, electrical power through this wall. Like, there's dumb things that happen for sure,
Yeah.
but it is still cut and dry. Okay, this is the situation. This is the end result. Get it there. Like,
Fill in the blank.
yeah. and I've always been pretty good at that. I like the problem solving stuff as far as building houses and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean the and working with the people directly for me has been a really rewarding thing. It can also be that, I work with a lot of retired people, so sometimes
Hmm.
it's the story that never ends and I have to get to the point even though
Oh,
I want to take as much time as it takes for the story to go on, but I have so many
yeah.
computers to work on that at some point
No, for sure.
could
Well,
have
it's one of the things I'm gonna have to do because I'm gonna be essentially commission based. Is like go in like, hey, like I got about 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, and then I can maybe take 15 minutes at the end of the day. But when I'm here, I got my
yeah.
headphones on and I'm working.
I got to
Like
go straight to
that's
it. We
yeah,
did we
because
did a thing back when we started that was 5 minutes for free at the bench.
oh yeah,
And
yeah,
that had to go. That was one of the first things on
yeah,
the chopping block because that 5 minutes was never 5 minutes, and there's no
uh-huh.
nice way to stop somebody from having a wonderful conversation. And it's a part of my
Yeah,
job too, is working in a small town. You want the
yeah,
small
the
town
interpersonal.
chatting, and you
Yeah,
want to have the customers talking with each other. It's the beautiful part about it. It's not Best Buy. But you
yeah.
got to get real and you got to get to work as fast as
Yeah.
as
Well,
fast as you
and
can.
you're not big enough yet to just have a guy be like, "Okay,
I
oh,
want to
this
be
is your
that.
problem. Take
Dude,
it," and just be like, "Here, Johnny, fix this while I
right. And
continue
the and
this."
the and the other weirdness was you're talking directly to the technician. It's not the
Yeah.
same as you're talking to the guy at the front desk and he's like, "Well,
Yeah.
I can understand you're frustrated, but I don't know what
I
the
can
fuck
only
to do."
read what's written here in the
Yeah,
computer.
says to check it in. I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
But I'd
No,
like to be the guy that
absolutely.
just gets to talk and tell stories and be the small town, get all the information from them, let them have their 2 cents. That would be a nice part of the job if we had enough money.
More like 10 cents.
Yeah. Well, with inflation, more like a couple bucks, man. We're not going to
Yeah.
survive off of
These
that
days.
anymore. But yeah, it's been good. But the
Yeah.
stress levels are definitely there all the time because of that
Yeah.
aspect of it. And I deal with small businesses, so sometimes your business is down, and so I treat that with a little bit extra stress.
Oh, yeah, you have to. Stress, like, yes, it is stress. It's just
Yeah,
dealing with it in the correct way is always like the key.
yeah, and I have gotten a lot better at that. Like
Hmm.
the only thing that gets me nowadays that is like to the core and is like the same interaction is if there's a tiger that just popped out of the bush that is
Yeah.
about to come after me. That same feeling, that same heart pressure going up. I had one just the other day that's a perfect example. Was I plugged in a clone of a hard drive, so a customer's hard drive cloned over to another. I plug it into the adapter and plug it in, and it asked me to initialize the drive like it was a blank drive.
Oh.
And so immediately I felt like all the temperature rise and my heartbeat start going. And then I stopped it, but I couldn't stop it from getting to that point. As soon as it
For
hit
sure.
that point where I could feel sweat coming out of the top of my head, that's when I was like, there's nothing you can do. I walked back
Yep.
over to the cloning machine, verify that is I definitely plugged it in the right spot, and then was like, fuck this adapter, go get a different adapter, plug it in. Their hard drive was there with all the data. Because the only thing that can do the uninitialized drive is if you clone the blank drive over
Yeah,
the
if you did it in
customer's data.
reverse. Yeah.
So I went through all the fucking motions, even though I verify it twice, even though it's a fucking machine and it has no human error, and I put it in right, I still look at it 3 times to make sure they're in the right
Hey,
spots.
it's they say measure twice, cut once.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
same idea.
yeah. Except mine's verified 3 times, and it's a freaking piece of hardware. It's not going to do something different on me.
Yeah, not without a massive power surge or something nefarious.
Yes, but there's the things I can blame anyway. Otherwise, that was the most recent one I have. But I still have those moments where it fucking hits me really hard, and I have to remember you're doing everything that you can.
Yeah.
These are machines, and they do have their random spasms of and gremlins like we were talking about, so I need to
Hmm.
relax on as long as you're doing everything you're supposed to and you're checking all the boxes, just calm down, let it
Yeah.
go.
Now, quirks are in almost every aspect of life. Like as much as we try to, simplify and make things built one way and so that it's all the same
Yeah,
to
so
make
it
it
can't.
easier for us,
Yeah.
it's still, I mean, I've driven two cars from like the same year, same make and model. The only difference was the color, and they're completely different vehicles. and it's just because of either the way they were treated, the way they were maintained, like, and it's, that's the nature of everything, is stuff acts a little bit different. You
Mhm.
know, I'm sure if you drove two brand new cars, they should be essentially the same.
Should be. Should be.
But
Then there's manufacturer defects, which I have to bring up to customers all the time because they're like, this is a trustworthy brand and model and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I know that's great, but all it takes
I
is
was just watching a video
one
yesterday.
one thing not soldered on correctly and it blows
Yeah,
and then that shit don't work anymore.
I was watching a video yesterday on washing machines, and how, like, back in, our parents' era, you bought a washing machine in 1975. That thing was good at least till 95, if not
Yeah.
still running in 2005. Like, they were built to last 20, 30, 40 years. And when they broke, it was like all individual parts that you could just open the back panel and replace the pulley or replace the bearing, replace,
Man,
like,
we
it
really
was
need to get back
simple.
to that.
Now, like, on purpose, these companies have designed these things so, like, the bearing that allows the drum to spin in your washing machine is part of the whole system, and
Oh,
you can't take it apart to replace the bearing. That bearing fails in like 5 to 7 years.
yeah,
Oh,
and
like,
I'm a
almost
big
guaranteed.
I'm a big right to repair person being in the
Yeah,
field that I'm in, and I know a lot of the lawsuits that have gone on, but it is a constant battle because
absolutely.
in order to copyright something and protect it, the only way to get around it is change it by like I think it's 30% or something
Right,
like that,
right.
so they don't have to change much. The things that they're changing to get over a bunch of older copyrights is by the planned obsolescence and building in
Yeah,
this one freaking
you're
thing that
essentially making it worse so that you can own it.
yeah, so that nobody
Yeah.
else can do it that way.
Yeah, and but yeah, and I mean, by that same token, like, the they were talking about the brands that service technicians say to, like, avoid, and one of them was Samsung, and I'm like, I trust almost all Samsung products,
Yeah.
but I'm like, no, that actually makes sense that their washing machines, like, that's not their main money maker, so
Yeah.
they're just like, well, let's make as much money as we can, and we make more money by these failing, so we'll just do what everybody else is
Right.
doing and allow them to fail.
It's shitty. I mean, again, we've brought up the same thing as in many of the podcasts. Is it's a lot of profit driven, just bullshit.
Yeah, and it's essentially unavoidable. You can, again, if you do your research, you can find decent
Yeah.
companies that are trying to do it in such a way that, like, they either do make their product serviceable,
Mhm.
or they make it in such a way that, like, it's gonna last at
Yeah.
least, 10 to 15 years rather than like 7 to 10.
And I
And
kind of feel like
like,
there's also this, I don't know, it feels like people are less able to repair their own stuff these days
oh,
as
well,
well.
that's for sure.
Like it's almost a combo working against us in both sides. Is like people are not repairing their own shit. They're
Yeah.
just, it's broken, throw it away, buy a new one. I see a lot of
Oh,
that.
I mean, like, laptops are one of the things that I scoff at a lot, because I see them on, marketplace for sale, and it's like, this laptop's 3 years old,
Hmm.
and they're like selling it because they're saying, like, oh, it runs slow, and I'm like, have you done anything
That
about, like, the
yeah, that could
RAM
all
or
be
your memory?
software.
Have you done anything to
Yeah,
look into this? I swapped the RAM on my wife's laptop. And this was like 5 or 6 years. No, this is 6 or 7 years ago. I swapped it out.
yeah,
Her computer started was like brand new again, no
yeah,
problems,
yeah,
because her RAM was not only old, but I also doubled her capacity,
yeah.
and, like, it was great. I also had to swap out her hard drive as well, but that was a different story.
Yes,
Um,
I mean that could be included if it was a conventional hard drive and you're upgrading it to an SSD. That's three times the speed right there,
yeah, yeah.
just on its own.
Sadly, hers was too old to go M.2, but
Yeah, but that's with computers. I definitely understand it. I'm in the
yeah,
refurbished computer business, and ultimately, I think people throw away stuff way before its time just because they don't look into anything. They're just like, it's slow, throw it away.
yeah. Yeah, and, well, and the thing is, a lot, especially with cell phones, so much of that is like, that's baked in, of like, oh, this update will update it, and then your phone will be slower, And
Yeah.
that's on purpose by design because the
And
new
it's
phone came out the week
and
before.
it also doesn't have to be on purpose. It can just be a side effect because they can't
Mm,
upgrade the operating system so that it
absolutely.
is more powerful and takes more resources from your older phone.
Which
And
then
so,
slows down. Yeah.
yeah, so your battery gets eaten
But
up faster and it goes slower.
there's also a ton of settings in your phone that nobody tells you about unless you go digging for them that will
Yeah.
speed up your phone. Like,
Yeah, there's tons of stuff and background apps refresh and all that sort
yeah.
of crap that can be turned
Like I
off.
have almost all of that off except for the apps that I need.
Yeah, and I'm big on Windows having so much of that crap. And when you go to buy a new machine, I have customers that they'll buy a new machine and they'll bring it in for a system cleanup. It's that bad at this point.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I'll go in and turn off all the extra Windows features that nobody even uses or bothers, especially not, I'd say, over half of the people that are using Windows. And then aside from that, all the bloatware that they install and extra antivirus programs and VPNs that aren't even enabled that are just running in the background.
yeah, yeah. That just automatically turn on. I mean, yeah, I was having an issue with my setup, and I was like, oh, so, like something's going on because my it used to just start up like I'm running an M.2. It used to start up in like 12 seconds flat,
Yeah.
but my rig's also 5 or 6 years old, so it's gonna be slower. But it was taking like 3, 4 minutes, and I'm like, something's up here.
Yeah.
So I went in and I'm like, oh, it's trying to start all these other things that was part of a Microsoft update.
Yeah.
And I'm like, blip, 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 like, and
Funny
now it
story,
starts
it
up and
turns
it's
them
like 25
yeah.
seconds.
Yeah, funny story. It turns them all back on when big updates go through. It's hilarious.
Yep,
It's like, oh, you
yep,
got to just do it again every couple of months.
yep. It's a bit silly. Well, and especially on my Windows 11 preview.
Yeah, yeah, you got that premium quality product.
It's so silly. I mean, again, I have no problems with it except for when I have problems with it,
That,
but
that
they're
that is
rare.
that's one of my favorite lines from customers. It's worked perfect forever. It's flawless. I'm like, why are you here? I don't say that,
Yeah,
of course,
if
but
it was flawless, then you shouldn't be here.
no, I usually say it.
Sorry.
I usually say it always works until it doesn't, and they go,
Yeah,
"That's fair."
yeah.
Everybody's pretty honest with that one. It's like, oh
Well,
yeah, I
that's
guess
like
that's fair.
it's always in the last place you look
It is. Isn't that crazy?
every time.
Every time. Would you
No,
believe
actually,
it?
I found it and then I kept looking.
And it wasn't there either. It was fucking crazy.
That's like the I found Jesus. He was behind the couch the whole time.
Yeah,
That was
but
my favorite. That was my favorite fridge magnet when I was a kid.
oh, that was a fridge magnet.
Oh, it was a little fridge magnet. My sister might have that fridge magnet now, but yeah, it was literally it was like the silhouette of Jesus like coming up, with the orange glow behind him, and then it was just a little sofa sitting there, and it's like I found Jesus. He was behind the couch the whole time.
Yeah, actually, one of my favorite pins of that I put on my suit is the Jesus coming around the corner, and it's
Oh,
got
nice.
and it's got I saw that underneath it.
Yeah, no, beautiful, beautiful. My dad had a shirt. Well, he had two shirts that I just remember so vividly. One that was like gravity. It's not just a good idea. It's the law. And then
That's
he had
good.
another one.
That's
Yeah, it
good.
was great. He had another one that said uh, Baroque when you're out of Monet. Do you get that one?
I do
That
not
was
get that one.
so
Baroque.
yeah. So the Baroque period in art
Yes.
came after Monet died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the Baroque when you're out of Monet. It's very very cheesy unless you know art history.
Yeah. What did your dad do for a living?
This side of everything.
This side of everything? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he was in the Air Force, and then he ran flight simulators in the Air Force.
Okay.
Um, and then he was a mining operator. Like he did. So he was like the go between. When they lived in Kentucky, there was there's mining. There was mining everywhere in Kentucky, and like the machines that would go in, like, and like to do the majority of the
Yeah.
work were all built by this company out of Holland. So the people that came from Holland to maintain these machines all spoke Dutch, but the operators all spoke hillbilly Kentucky. And my dad could understand both.
He
So
was
my
in a
dad
niche
basically his most
situation.
of his job was communicating between the
Oh,
guys
that's
that built the
funny.
machine and the guys operating the machine.
It's funny how crazy even English accents can get, and you need a
Oh,
person for that job.
dude. Oh, well, especially when it's like deep Kentucky.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
they,
any
they
any
they
of those
they go
places
hard down
out in the
there.
middle of nowhere, they all have a little bit of a twang.
Oh, for sure. Well, and I mean the Pacific Northwest has arguably the least location specific accent.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know what it
I
is
call
about
it
that.
non-regional diction. I mean, because the one I notice is like it's very much soda in the Northwest, but it's
Yeah,
pop in a lot of the country, and parts of the country it's soda pop,
they'll
and then
just
in the
use both
South
of them.
it's just Coke.
It's just Coke.
Oh, dude, no, there's the large parts of the South. It's Coke, even if you want a Mountain Dew.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I don't hear a lot of an accent difference. We have also a lot of people that travel from all over the world out here, which I think
For sure. Well,
probably
I
plays a
think I
role.
think that's why the accent kind of diminishes as you cross the country, is because people just kept coming, and then like converged on the West Coast. And so, in
Right.
order for everyone to understand each other, they just kind of deleted the accent down to
It's watered
as
down as
clear of English as possible.
yeah, that might be it. Or maybe
Because
maybe
I
I'm
mean,
thinking of a bag from that might be from Ohio, and I'm mixing that up.
that sounds like an Ohio thing. Because like, do they say yins over there?
Yeah, a bag of crap. Yeah, I think that might be Ohio that I'm thinking of.
The Ohioisms. Well,
Yeah,
because yeah, the
because
Pittsburgh area is
I spent
yins.
14 years there, and then just recently I've spent longer here.
Right,
So
right.
I just passed the threshold of I now have been here longer than anywhere in my entire life.
Oh yeah, I was over there longer than anywhere. But I mean, I was what 12 and a half years in North Idaho, 13 years in North Idaho, and
Okay.
then yeah, like a little over 15 years in the Northwest.
Yeah, I like it out here though.
I mean, I love it too. It'll still always be home, but I'm enjoying my East Coast romp.
Yeah, East Coast is nice. I forgot how freaking humid it is over there. Is it humid
Oh,
in Philadelphia?
yeah, dude, it's real out here, and so literally last week we had weather in the teens, and this Sunday I believe it's supposed to get to like 78,
Holy crap.
and then it goes immediately back down to almost freezing.
Yeah, I'll be in Florida tomorrow. It should be 80, so
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
changing real quick. And it takes me
Well,
a little
I
bit
mean
to
that's
adapt.
fine. I don't 80 in Florida is fine. Well, I hate humidity, but that's the reason I because like my favorite place in the U.S. is almost certainly New Orleans. Like, I love that city,
Yeah.
but I could never live there because it's the most humid place I've ever been to.
Oh. Yeah, the Ohio, I forgot how humid it was. I mean, when I went back there, I felt like I was drinking the air in my lungs or the
Yep.
water. I
Yeah.
felt like I was just inhaling water.
No, for sure. The first time I got to New Orleans, it was that way because like you get off the plane and you walk into the airport and but like you're inside the whole time, so you
Yeah.
felt it a little bit in the walkway, but it wasn't that bad. But then you walk through the airport and it's air conditioned, not super well, but like it is air conditioned. And then the doors just open and it's like
And
this
then you get hit. Yeah.
wall. You're like,
A
oh,
waterfall.
okay, that's what humidity feels like. Got it.
Yeah, it was the first time
Oh, dude,
I
it's
went to go visit Florida when I after I moved here. It was my first time going there, and I brought
mm,
my skateboard with me. I didn't know I wouldn't be able to
ooh,
skateboard. As soon as I hit the pavement, I got like a block and I was drenched in sweat. I hadn't
For
even
sure.
put in any effort yet. I was just
For
scooting
sure.
down the road and I just forgot how intense it is in direct
Yep.
sunlight. And by the
Yep.
time I got to the end of the road, I was like, I'm done. I'm going back to the AC. This is not happening.
No, you literally just because even here in Pennsylvania, you just jump from air conditioned spot to air conditioned spot in the summer. Like
Yeah.
it's, and I mean, I was working outside, and so it was legit. Like, okay, you get to work, and it's already like 78 degrees with this when the sun's down, and you start the truck and just blast the AC for like 15 minutes before you even get in so
Oh,
that you get in and the truck's cool. You're like, all right, let's go. You go out and then you're like cutting tree branches and like mowing and all this shit, and it's 95 degrees and
yeah.
like 86 90% humidity and like literally doing nothing. It just standing there. I'm dripping sweat. Like
Yeah, it happens fast. And then
I
I get
easily
acclimated.
drink 2 or more gallons of water a day in the summer.
Oh, jeez.
You
Yeah.
know, the amount of water I go through is crazy. I actually measured it one day. I drank 2 gallons of water, so that's 16 pounds of water that I drank, and I still lost 8 pounds
Oh my God. In a day?
at, in a day. And I ate food, and I probably ate about a pound of food at lunch.
Oh my gosh.
So like that means that I lost like 25 pounds of sweat during that day. I mean, obviously some of it comes out in your breath and stuff like that,
Yeah,
but like
that's a weird thing about the human body is there is weight and fat and things just being dissipated into your
goes it all the
breath.
time. Yep, all the time. I mean, I measured it. This was in the summer, but I measured it one night. I went to bed, and right before I went to bed, I got in the scale, and then when I got up in the morning, I hadn't done anything. Hadn't even drank water since I got on the scale. I had lost. It was almost 6 pounds sleeping. And I was like, that's an insane amount. Now,
Yeah.
I was sweating because it was hot,
Yeah.
but like I wasn't soaked, but I was still I'm like, that's such a large
That's
amount of
that's a
water.
that is alarming at that point.
Yeah.
You're like,
It's
"What?
crazy.
Where did it go?" You know?
Well, and then it's like, oh, no wonder if I don't drink water for 4 or 5 hours, no wonder I feel dehydrated.
Yeah, no, it hits back pretty hard. And I acclimate pretty
I
well.
drink
And
so much water here.
because I used to live in Florida for a little while, so I know that I acclimate. I used to visit there every summer, so my body does know how to fluctuate for these things,
Yeah,
but it takes me a little bit in order to
for sure.
acclimate. When you first show up, it's just like it's suffering for a little bit.
Yeah. No, I was better this past summer than I was the first summer. Um, like the
Yeah.
first summer, I was miserable. I basically didn't if I didn't have to be outside, I was inside in front of the air conditioner as much as possible. Um, but then this last year, I had to be outside because I'm working outside,
Yeah.
and so it's just like, all right, we're doing it. We're sweating
We're
today,
going
baby.
in.
And yeah, you know, you bring an extra T-shirt and whatever, and like you just change out, but like the sweat is real. Great for losing weight though,
Yeah. I mean, it's also good for purifying. I mean, that's why
for sure. No,
I was
sweating.
doing the sauna
That's
for
why
a
I love
little
the
bit.
sauna.
Yeah. But the sauna here is it's a really small one and it's in a public gym and so there's
Yeah.
times where it'd be
You also
nice if
you can't ever crank the ones in American public gyms.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It's safety shit. They don't want some like 70-year-old man to go in
Oh
there
yeah,
and
I
crank
guess
it
that's
to
fair.
190 and die.
Yeah, I'd say 200 is probably where I'd be comfortable. I wouldn't want to go any higher than that.
Oh, I rarely go like 185 is my happy place.
Oh god.
Um, I mean, I would do 190, but I wouldn't. I like 185. I'll do for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I
Um,
usually do the 15, get out, cold shower, back in for 15.
okay, yeah. I don't like the cold shower as much. I mean, I get it. I just I like the if there's a cold plunge, that's my favorite.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had a cold plunge. There used to be one in the
Oh,
gym that I went to in Florida, and it was just my dad would offer us I think it was like $1 or something for if we could go underwater submerged in the cold plunge for I think it was just like 30 seconds or something like that.
oh yeah,
It
yeah.
was intense. As soon as you go underwater in that cold of water, you
Oh, it
forget
change.
time.
Yeah, putting your
Time
head
is
under
gone.
changes it for sure.
Yeah, time is out the window. You don't know what time is. You could be under there for 2 seconds. You're like, did I do it? And then you're like,
Yeah,
nope,
no,
that was two.
I've definitely so my one of my favorite places in the world is actually up just across the border into BC from North Idaho. It's called I believe it's Ainsworth Hot Springs,
Hmm.
and it's really cool. It's like in a cliff, and so the hot springs are like tiered down, and
Oh,
each one gets
nice.
cooler as it comes down. It's like a natural hot spring that they've turned into a man-made hot spring. Like they made the pools and everything.
Right,
Like
right.
there was a pool there that they then dug out and made it like nice. You know,
Yeah.
I think natural is way cooler, but I get it. They wanted to make a resort out of it.
Yeah, and they
But
did that in Solduck. They have one here
yeah,
on the
Soul
Olympic
Duck's also
Peninsula.
cool. I like Soul Duck.
And they did that I think because there was too much sulfur that was
Yeah,
coming out through
yeah.
the water, so they sort of man-made
They
it
needed
so
to
they could
maintain it. Yeah.
yeah. But anyway,
There's
you're
also one in Montana called Quinn's that's also pretty good. But
oh,
beside the point, Ainsworth, the top part is still natural. Like the where it comes out is still natural, but it's like a cave that is like a horseshoe shape. Like it goes in and then out. And at the back of the cave, it's like 106, 107.
oh nice.
So
That's
it's
hot tub
hot.
stuff.
It's
Yeah.
hot. And they say to not spend more than 5 minutes in the cave. My dad and I, of course, just being the ridiculous people we are, we go in there and we're like, because at the very back of the cave is it comes just like out of the ground,
Yeah.
and then it rolls down this
Rock
sheer
face.
wall like this, and you can lay on it. So we're just like
Oh
laying on the hot
jeez.
water and then dunking ourselves. And I mean, both of us, like to the point where we're just beet red, dripping sweat. And the best part about Ainsworth, why I love it so much, is when you come out of the cave, directly next to the cave is a 42-degree glacial runoff pool.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's
you
a
can just,
nice switch.
it's amazing.
That sounds like a
It's the
wake-up
longest
call.
I've ever spent in that cold that wasn't doing like an ice bath
Yeah.
was there because you get just like so hot that your skin is on fire, and then you get in that cold and you can feel your skin like
Yeah,
just fully
there's not
shrink.
the cold water when it is really hot is
Oh,
so freaking nice. It's
oh,
otherworldly. I think it's one of those stimulating like all of your senses when your whole
yep.
body's like overheating and it's like taking a dive into a heat sink and you're immediately dispersing all the heat
Ah,
at once. Yeah,
I can
that's
process so much more now.
and while you were talking about the cave and just like the natural waters, and the first thing that I thought of was going to the springs in Florida. I might need to go
Oh yeah,
find one of the springs over there because that water is nice and crisp and cold, and it's hot
nice.
as fuck out there.
Oh
I,
yeah. Well, watch out for the iguanas.
yeah, I hear there's a lot of iguanas now. I'm actually
Yeah.
excited for that because I grew
Well,
up around there, and those weren't as big of a thing at the time.
no, no, yeah,
There were iguanas on the
a
island.
bunch of hillbillies hadn't let their pet iguanas go, and
Yeah, and there was some islands I lived off of Bokeely Island, that's Fort Myers area in Florida, and they had some
yeah,
wild iguanas that were down there. I don't know if those were actual like wild from the region or if those were also like had gone
they
wild from
probably
old
were.
parks.
Most of that stuff down there was introduced,
Yeah. So, but I at least saw
except the
them there.
gays.
Yeah, I at least saw them wild. I hear they have crocodiles down there now because of the
Yeah,
same thing, like the
yeah,
big ones.
they're coming.
So I am
Hum
worried
num num
about
num num
that.
num num.
And
Eh,
anacondas.
keep your eyes open. You've got good nature sense. You'll be
Oh
fine.
yeah, no, I wouldn't go anywhere fucking near the water at any time towards night, and I would have a pretty good eye for the wildlife. I'm always looking for it, so it's a little bit better for me. I'm looking for the animals at all points in time, as
Yeah.
opposed to just looking at the sights and sounds and not being oblivious to it.
That just reminds me of the story, like not me, but like uh, my buddy, who like was down in South America, like going through the jungle, and like the guide is like, okay, we're gonna go down this path, but do not grab onto any branches to like stabilize yourself.
Yeah.
Like just don't do it. And he's like, "What? Why?" He's like, "No, just trust me. Don't grab any branches." And then the person in front of my buddy grabs a branch, and it comes down, and it's just a snake.
Oh my gosh.
And like the guy comes running back and like hooks the snake and tosses it out of her hand. And he's like, "That's why you don't grab branches."
Yeah,
Uh,
there was
I mean,
we went on a lot of tour boat rides down in Florida,
yeah.
and one of the areas through the Everglades, I actually got to see some snake habitats in the wild just floating on the water, as
Mm,
well as tons of gators, or not gators, those were alligators. And I remember being that close to them and throwing some meat out of the boat. It's pretty wild just how close and comfortable everybody is with them down there,
yeah. No, it's definitely you
depending
get
on who
used
you
to
are.
almost anything. Yeah. I know I would get very comfortable because I like snakes to begin with. And
Mhm.
so I would get very comfortable with it. But always with that, like, no, 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 these things can kill me.
Yeah, well, is
Like,
identification is huge. Luckily, I mean, I brought it up before. Is my dad used to have a game for us. Is you could go out and catch animals, and he would pay you for catching them as
oh,
long as they're not harmed. As long
okay.
as you're not damaging anything, and as long as you can identify it. And those were the
Hmm.
two things. And then he would give you, a couple of, I think it was like 50 cents for a crab or something, and then it was like a dollar for a snake, and then, a quarter for a lizard. Like he had a
Right.
range for all these things. But catching snakes was one of my favorite things to do. But the identification came first because
Yeah.
dad was very serious about, they kill you really fast. So
Yeah.
be
No,
sure
it's,
what you're
well,
handling.
I mean, because even like the simplest, most docile, like ball pythons, if they get scared and you're handling it, like it can wrap around your neck and choke you.
Yeah.
Like,
I was not a
snakes
big
are
kid.
dangerous.
Yeah, I was not a big kid. It would have been fairly easy.
Yeah. No, it's and like again, I genuinely love snakes. Mwah. I genuinely love snakes, so it's I remember I would have been like third or fourth grade. They had the like petting the animal
Yeah, the
people come
local,
through.
yeah, the wildlife trainer type of person.
Yeah, yeah, and like they brought a couple like lizards and birds through, and then they like, "Are you guys ready for to see the snake?" And like some people are freaking out, like kids are hiding, and I'm just like, "Yeah!" I was so excited. And they bring out this like 15-foot long, some kind of boa something.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's just a boa constrictor. It was like just white and yellow. Um, I don't remember exactly what it was. I should know off the top of my head, but
If it was white and
uh,
yellow, then Python comes to mind.
yeah, it was freaking huge, and it
Yeah.
wasn't just huge because I was a kid. Uh, I was already like 4.5 feet tall, so so like it wasn't actually no. I would have been almost like 5 feet tall, but beside the point. Um, and like they're like, does anybody want to come up and like hold it? And I'm just like, yeah, of course.
Sold.
And being the biggest kid, I got to be like right by its head and do this thing like this big
Oh,
around
jeez.
and like so impressive. The head was like that, like it was not a small snake at all.
Yeah, no, nature's
And
awesome.
it was so cool, and I like that was the moment that I knew like I will love snakes the rest of my life. I already liked catching little garter snakes and stuff.
Yeah.
You let them bite your finger for fun.
Yeah, no, I used to have the lizards. I would put them on my ears and just have the
Oh yeah,
lizards
yeah,
hanging off my
yeah.
ears.
We didn't have. We had a lot of uh what are they called? What kind of not
Newts or
geckos?
salamanders?
Salamanders. We had a
Salamanders,
bunch of
yeah.
salamanders where I grew up. They were like, if there was a body of water, you'd find salamanders.
Yeah, and that was
Um,
Dad would always take us to the swampier areas and just go log flipping, where we would just go
yeah,
around and see what we could find, and he'd be able to identify almost anything. It was like traveling with my own personal Steve Irwin when I was a kid, as
that's
I
great
always was be able to tell, what this animal was, where it migrates, what it eats, and if it was fish, he could say what type of fish it was, what it eats, and where it's coming from. It was pretty
for sure.
wild as a kid. That was.
Have you ever seen? Speaking of, you said migration. You ever seen ladybugs migrating,
Hmm.
dude? So when I
But
was a little
ladybugs are
kid,
huge in Ohio. Tons of swarms of them and that sort of thing, but I've never seen them
so
migrate.
it's it's like part of their migration is when they swarm, they like breed and move.
Okay.
And dude, when I was a kid, around that same age, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. Um, my grandpa comes to me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to see something cool?" And I was just like, "I mean, yeah, I always want to see something cool." He's like, "Okay, follow me," and we go out and walk up. It's probably, you know 200, 300 yards from my house out to where our barn was,
Yeah.
and then we go out like behind the barn, and that's where like the woods really start, is like 20 feet behind the barn. And he's just walking up towards this tree, and then like right as we get close, he stops and he turns and he shows me his cane handle, and he's like, "You see that?" And there's just this cute little ladybug on his cane. He's like, I'm like, "Oh, cool, a ladybug." He's like, "Yeah, you want to see a bunch of them?" And I'm like, "Huh?" And he just points his cane at this tree, and there's like thousands of ladybugs on this tree. And I'm just like, "That's cool." He's like, "No, wait." And he goes over and he hooks this piece of bark with his cane and pulls it off. It's like this dying tree. Hooks this piece of bark off, and like tens of thousands of ladybugs
Like a
are just
CGI film.
it, it, it was crazy. You couldn't see the tree. It was just
Oh,
ladybugs.
wow.
Like, it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life. And then they like flew and did like it was gnarly. And then you get covered in ladybugs and you're not
Yeah,
killing them because they're ladybugs. And
right. But also still pretty freaked out, probably.
uh, no, yeah, I mean it was tense, but I wasn't scared. It was
Right.
just like,
No, not as
this is
scary.
crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the only time they ever came through our property. But apparently, that was like part of their thing, is like
Migration.
when
Huh.
it's like mating season and they're moving.
Yeah, but that story did remind me of a betrayal back in the day with my older brother.
Mm.
Is We were walking around in the backyard, and my brother found a beehive from in the ground,
Ooh.
and told me to put my foot on it. And I was pretty dumb at the time, didn't really think anything of it. And I
Yeah,
put my
yeah.
my foot on it, and immediately he starts just chuckling and running away. And then it all sort of comes to me, and I'm figuring out like what the hell do I do at this point?
Oh, this is yeah.
Yeah, and so I decided I'm just gonna book it as fast as I can. But I do remember the swarm was so
Ugh.
big, like it was
Well,
a
and the
big
noise that
hive. And it was the intensity of like I was gonna just run immediately, and then I was like kind of in shock, and so I was sitting there. But then you start see them trying to come back to the hole, and then they're like all hovering around my foot, and then I'm like, I gotta make a decision, and I fucking bolted, and they're just
Oh,
pouring out up into the air over top of me.
yeah.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah. I never had that with the bees. I was always pretty lucky with the bees. The last time I got stung, I was 12, and I stepped on a bee.
Yeah, I've
It
done
was the
that one
bottom
too.
of my
The
foot.
barefoot bottom of the foot bee sting.
Oh,
I've gotten that one as well.
oh, it hurt. And then you can't walk right for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe the bees are different in Ohio, and maybe the bees are different where it's more humid too.
Well, I don't think so. Yeah, we have ground nesting bees here. I don't think in Idaho there may have been, but we didn't have any on our property. Um,
Yeah. And I see a lot of the
and
bumblebees here. I don't remember seeing as much bumblebees when I was growing up. It was
there's
more
a
a
lot in the Northwest. There's a lot of
yeah.
bumblebees in the Northwest. We had those big ones in Idaho, like
Yeah, no,
almost
there's still those
half
ones I'll
dollar
see
size.
around here in Anacortes, and I remember when I first moved here, I went around petting bees all the time. I was like, they're
Oh
so
yeah,
adorable and so much more docile than the bees that I was used to seeing in
yeah,
Florida and
yeah,
in Ohio. But we had
yeah.
horse flies, in Florida.
Oh,
The horse flies were crazy, and they didn't sting and die. They just bit you, and so they just bit you repeatedly, and it was
and like
gnarly.
I've heard that they're here too. I haven't seen any.
Yeah, well,
And
lucky
like the
you.
couple people I've talked to have been like, "Oh yeah, there've been less of them lately." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'll take that."
Yeah, it's
Like,
a pros and cons. I'm so much a part of the natural world as far as my belief in how important it is that I'm not
yeah,
excited about in any insects disappearing. Mosquitoes,
yeah,
you might have an argument out of me. I might be like, yeah, that's not
yeah.
right. But the mosquitoes are also eaten by bats and eaten by a lot of other things. So there's importance there that we don't consider as
No,
humans
yeah.
as much.
Wiping out mosquitoes would not be a good thing for the ecosystem.
Right, exactly. So as much as like people put hate
Great for
onto one,
malaria,
yeah,
but
great. But as much as people shit on, certain insects, even I tend to
yeah.
have a more broad scope of there's tons of
No, for
importance
sure.
here.
Well, I mean it's one of the if I had to regret anything I ever did with like with bugs, because like animals I've been pretty good to except for my hunting days, like, but even then I was hunting them
Hunting
to
is
eat
hunting.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
like but I did have the experience, like I've done the magnifying glass with some ants. Not great, not a proud moment.
No, no, that's not good
Fascinating,
stuff.
but not a proud moment. And
You-
then I definitely did
You'll
have a
never feel
friend
more
who,
power.
oh, I mean, you do feel powerful. Um, I've started so many fires with the magnifying glass, um, but like useful fires, not
Actually trying to make a fire, not.
yes, yes. But no, we had a pretty massive ant hill in my backyard, and I mean it was there for years because they never really bothered the house.
Yeah.
And then there was something coming up where it was gonna get dug up, and then my buddy heard that there was an anthill. He's like, "Dude, we gotta blow it up!" Which is like so excited. And I'm like, "All right, yeah, sure." And I mean, dude, we
How American.
we exploded this freaking anthill. Like,
Oh,
uh, the,
kids, man.
I
Well,
have I have done some gnarly fireworks because I grew up on the native reservation where you can
oh
get
yeah,
like
that'll do it. That'll help.
gnarly fireworks.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I've taken down trees. I've taken down like 6, 8 inch trees with
Jeez.
fireworks. Yeah.
That's
The
insane.
best the best thing that we did though, like the most impressive anyways, was we put a like a Folgers can, like the old tin Folgers can,
Yeah.
and put a bowling ball on top with well, they said it was the equivalent to a quarter stick of dynamite. I don't know how accurate that was, but it was a hell of a lot more powerful than an M80, and M80s are
Yeah, yeah, I remember
terrifying.
the
Like M80s are
M80s.
powerful,
Yeah.
and this thing they called it like an M2000,
Yeah.
which I don't
I mean,
whatever.
there is some salesmanship involved in the
Yeah,
labeling of these things.
but it was definitely way more powerful, and we put that in, and dude, it went off. The can disappeared, and the ball like broke, but fired up into the air and was up. I mean, like you could still see it, but it had to have gone 150 or maybe almost 200 feet in the air. Like it went so high
Yeah.
so quickly, and then just came back down and doo, like shook the ground. Was sunk into the dirt,
Jeez.
18 inches, and like there was a like crater where it hit. And it's just like, okay, that was gnarly.
That was
And
more
then
intense than I
and
expected.
then because we couldn't get those big ones. Well, I guess you could have on end, but the way they explode, whatever. The
Yeah.
adult that was there was like, no, it'll be better if we put an M80 in because it'll fit perfectly down the tube of a the mortar launchers,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
yeah. And then so we throw it down and then like stuff the tennis ball into it.
Oh
And
my gosh. Nice.
dude, when that thing went off, and that tennis ball went so fast, straight up, and like you heard it go like, whoosh, and then we're all like, okay, well it went straight up, and then we all lost it.
Yeah.
So, and we all go out and start looking for it. Like maybe 12, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, like a long time when you're expecting a thing to fall down. Like, well,
Yeah.
it has to be out here. Like, it had to have hit the ground by now. And like 20, maybe 25 seconds, that's probably too long, but it was a long time. And
Yeah.
we're like, well, it's somewhere else. It went off into the woods or something. We start heading back to the house. And as we're heading back, you just hear stunk as it hits the ground,
Uh,
and it hit like right behind one of my buddies,
oh
and we're all just like,
jeez.
"Oh my god!"
It's still going.
Like it went so high, it was up there for like almost 30 seconds. Which, yeah,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
was crazy.
we used to chuck the mortars at each other.
Oh yeah,
Me and the crew here in Anacortes,
dude,
and the
I've had mortar cannon wars.
yeah, and the rocket fight, like throwing the rockets that do the
Yeah,
before
yeah.
they pop. And I had one of those where I had thrown it up just wildly, and it shot straight down and hit my friend's hair and got
Oh,
caught in his hair and just
oh,
spun around his neck and then fired off, luckily, the
oh.
other
That's
side of his neck.
lucky.
He had a burn around the back of his neck or the side of his
Yeah.
neck, and then it popped.
Whew.
Like, that could have been a very different story.
Oh, so we again
And the
when you're on the
mortar's going
res
off
and you're
is like
bored. Oh,
dodging
it's
these flames that are
yeah,
flying towards
but
you.
none of them are really powerful enough. Like unless it popped like on you, you're never really gonna get more than like a little burn from a mortar
Right, right. Well,
because it's basically just a bunch
nobody
of
was wearing
sparks.
safety protection, so I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
you could still get messed up.
but like, dude, we literally we took PVC pipe and would like fire mortars like at each other.
Oh my gosh.
And then the best one, because the mortars were really expensive, so like we didn't do that much. But bottle rockets, you can get 2,000 bottle rockets for $20.
Yeah, those ones are a lot easier.
And so what we did is, because we loved the cannon launcher style. So what we did is we made teams, like two of us and two of us, and then we had these great like 6 foot long. Uh, they were I don't think they were copper. They might have been copper pipes. They might have been really small steel pipes, like what do you call that? Like conduit pipes.
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly what they were, but they were like just barely bigger than the bottle rockets. So when you fired one out, it was like a freaking arrow. They
yeah.
went exactly where you pointed them out of that pipe. And we lit, dude. Of course, me and my other buddy, who were like the two cool ones, and
They're
then
too
our
cool.
well,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, and then our friends who were like the ones that he and I picked on all the time, and we didn't like pick on them. They were just, we made fun of them, and like they were the butt of the jokes all the time, like
yeah.
and but
Shout out to
dude,
that one friend. You know who it is.
you know who you are. Uh, but dude, we're having a war, and I mean, we probably had 100 bottle rockets each side, and we're just zero pop, and I'm sniper level with this thing. Like I'm getting it right next to them. I'm hitting the tree above them to make like bark fall on them. I'm dialed with this thing, and I'm like raining bark on them, and then the one that was loading and firing gives up and just takes off running. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm gonna hit him now. He's out from behind the tree. Like I'm gonna hit him. And dude, I just zero in, fire it off, and like it was from a movie. He like tries to jump out of the way and goes full starfish as it hits him directly in the butt and bursts and like blows a hole in his pants.
Oh, jeez. Oh man.
He just collapses on the ground. Ah, ah!
I mean,
And
man.
that's the end of the bottle rocket war for that day. But
Yeah. No, that's all.
we
That's always how it
laughed
is.
and laughed.
We had
He
a
was also
great
the same
time.
friend that the my other buddy, the other asshole, as it were, shot with a BB gun in the calf, and it went like into his
Ooh,
calf, and I had to pop it like a zit to get the BB out.
holy shit. Yeah,
It
well,
was gnarly.
fun times, fun times.
Great childhood memories.
Yeah, you got to make those memories. Hopefully
When you
not at the
grow up in the middle of
expense.
nowhere and
That's
there's
all.
nothing
That's
to
it.
do, you end up shooting your friends.
Yeah, we had we had one a deal of whoever started smoking first with one of my close friends in
Mm,
Ohio would get a frozen paintball. It
those
was
hurt.
it was a bad one. Yeah, that one
Those
was a
hurt.
very bad one.
We did that not with paintball guns, but we froze our paintballs and then had slingshot war with them.
Yeah, my first paintball experience, one of the players froze his paintballs the night before.
Ooh, what
It
an
was
ass!
real fucked up. And to make the story even better, I didn't have a paintball gun, so I brought a paint tub, like one of the little cans of paint, and
Uh,
a paintbrush on a bandolier. So I had a little
yes,
paintbrush that I was like
yes.
full fucking
Oh, you're the
Rambo
best.
going in with it, and I had a sled, a snow sled that I held as a shield.
Perfect.
He was putting holes in the plastic
Woo!
shield. So I was
Yep.
very quickly finding out that this was not normal. And I'd have
Yeah.
to tilt it sideways so that I could
To deflect.
ricochet them off
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
But two people ended up dying inside of this like root system underneath the tree that we had hid in. And it was big enough to have like three guys in there. And paintballs rained in. And I checked myself and I wasn't hit. And they were all down. And so they all throw their paintball guns out. And I came out dual wielding and took the other team down to one player. It was so
Yes.
epic. It was
Oh, that's
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah, I got my
I,
choice of the best guns, and then I got to be the last man standing. I shot a guy in the nuts who was yelling at the people that were in there because he thought everybody was dead. And
yeah.
then while he's yelling at him, he gets hit right in
Whack,
the
whack,
dick.
whack.
And so he starts shooting at the guys again, and they're like, "No, we're all down, we're all down. Fucking stop it!"
Nice. Yeah, oh, dude, paintball's so much fun.
Yeah,
When I ran out of the paintballs with the slingshot, I was the only one either courageous enough, stupid enough, or ingenious enough to start picking up deer turds and firing those at everybody.
oh, jeez, it's rough, man. You a real asshole.
Oh, dude, I was a pretty terrible kid. Like, I was great fun if you were my buddy,
Yeah, if you
but
were
if
on
I
the
had any
inside of the
reason
joke,
to like fuck with you,
yeah.
oh, dude, it was on.
Well,
The so
probably around that time, same type of thing. If you showed weakness, like
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
were
yeah.
making a target for
Well,
yourself.
because I got picked on so much at school, so it was like in the real world, it was my time to get it
Yeah, it's hard not to take those messages and not reproduce them. So I had
for
the
sure.
older brother that beat down on me as I was
Yeah,
growing up. So when I
yeah.
had those situations, I sort of embodied those habits, unfortunately, for a
Shit rolls
while.
downhill. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I think that also was why I made really good friends with bigger people. And then I was
right. Yeah,
always in that situation of I was never in the dangerous position. I was always
right.
hanging out with the people who were sort of unfortunately beating down on the other members of the group
Yeah, yeah. It's fun.
in a
No,
reality
nobody got
sort of way.
majorly hurt.
Yeah, no, there was never bullying to the point where, we were making somebody defeated. These
No,
were
exactly.
the people
We
we were
all
beating
picked on
down
each
on.
other.
Yeah, we all picked.
Not.
And the people we would pick on would be people in our friends group that we
Yeah,
grew up with, and that there's no hard feelings on
understood.
that side.
Yeah, no, for sure. The worst thing I did as a kid, as far as like fucking with friends or other people, was like, dude, I I I was having some friends over to have a snowball fight because great snow in North Idaho for snowballs.
Yeah,
Not always, but when you got it, and like, yeah, and I had just a great, I lived on like 40 acres, so I had property where we could like run around and do it.
yeah.
So because I knew that this was happening the next day, and I'm a vindictive asshole, I went out and I made a bunch of pre-made snowballs the day before and
Oh, and let
hid
them
them
and
around.
let them
I wasn't even
freeze.
thinking that these are going to become
Yeah,
rock hard
those
ice
are
balls,
rocks. Oh, that's
dude.
bad.
Like, so we go, and I have four over here, I got two over here, I got six more down at the bottom of the hill, and dude, like, I'm whacking these dudes because I had a pretty decent arm as a kid, and like, oh, it, by the end, everyone was just screaming at me, and I'm like, "What? They're like, dude, how are your snowballs so hard?" And I'm like, I'm like, "Well, I did make them yesterday."
Yeah, it's the physics. I didn't think about the physics at the time. But yeah, and I'll also double down on the nobody got hurt too bad because of being beaten up as a kid. I also had a much thinner like gauge of if you're beating up on somebody too hard
Oh yeah,
or poking too much fun. There was a wrangling in of the group where I had to be like, we're all buddies here. This is not supposed to be something that goes to that level. And same with why I think I went into studying martial arts and getting into combat more frequently is so
for
that
sure.
if there was a bigger person that was unrighteously beating up on someone too hard,
You could try to do something
I could
about
do
it.
something
Yeah,
about it. And I
yeah.
could definitely
Well,
be
that's
faster than any of the bigger guys. That was another thing is that the not being able to catch me was a part of the game. It's
yeah,
like
for sure.
you might be able to hit me harder, but can you catch me? Like, are you
Yeah,
gonna can
yeah.
you make it?
No, it's something that like I wish back when I was doing like SCA events and stuff that I had known that that was something you would have been into, because if
Yeah.
you and I had been doing SCA stuff together, we
Oh,
totally
that
would
would
have
have been
made
a
like the
good team.
gnarliest duo in the
Yeah.
freaking combat scene, because I've had it in my head forever, is like tower shield, axe, and then dude behind me with either just a long sword or preferably a spear, and like we'll just dominate
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, and spear is my weapon of choice. That is my favorite
And
because
I love the
I like
spear.
pole
I'm
arms
not
and
a
I like
spear build. I'm an axe build.
yeah, and I like the pike and I like the just even the like the bow staff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So even
Bow staff,
smaller spear would
for
be
sure.
really my ideal.
No, I completely agree. I mean, I've always loved, yeah, like bow staff style, and you know, flipping it around and doing the bit. Like I
Yeah,
was always pretty dexterous with that kind of stuff. I'm halfway decent with a sword. I just axes have kind of always been my
my
thing.
jam.
And well, my the only like genuine, other than the katana, which is would be a functional weapon, but like the only real weapon that I like have had for a long time is my club.
Yeah.
And I've shown you my club, right?
Yeah, I've seen the clip before.
Yeah,
The
dude,
root.
it like yeah, it's the gnarliest weapon, and it would be, if not deadly, yes, deadly if I hit you in the right spot, but would just like break your arm if I hit you with it.
Yeah.
Like there, you'd go to defend and you'd be like, smash. No, you don't have an
No,
arm
no,
anymore.
that's not
It's
something you
useless
just
now.
go up against that way. No.
It's just a raw bludgeoning instrument, which again fits my build pretty well.
Yeah, and I like the great sword.
Yeah,
The one-handed short sword would probably be the sword of choice, just for maneuverability
for sure. I always, if I was gonna train to try to fight with like person to
with a
person,
melee
yeah,
weapon. Yeah,
I would want to do like the dirk or like dagger in my left hand, you know, down,
yeah,
a single bladed like short sword in my right. That
right.
would be the preferable, because like you can defend with a lot more having something here, and then I don't need that much range here. I just need to be able to, you know, poke and slash.
Yeah, yeah. And there was one time with me and Cody training with katanas. He had trained me to use the sword behind my back to deflect attacks.
Oh yeah,
And we were, of course, probably drinking too much and chopping fruits off of trees.
yep,
And
yep.
then we got into some sword dueling. And one of the times he went for my back when I was spinning around, and I deflected it correctly with the katana. He went a half an inch into my katana,
Whoo!
which means he was going hard enough to where
Yeah.
that would have been spine damage with
Yeah, you would have been hurt for sure.
yeah, like that would have been changed my future sort of thing.
Yep.
So really
Yep.
glad he taught me that move, and then he made me use it almost immediately after.
You know,
Uh,
there's nothing like pressure to make a diamond.
yeah, no, and I do not recommend doing that stuff, especially
Well,
inebriated.
I don't
But
recommend practicing with katanas without armor on.
yeah, no, that would be for sure. Go stick with Bokens. We got Bokens, I think, after that event,
Yeah,
and then we went to
probably a good call.
yeah, went to wooden Bokens. But we were still we had shields that we had built, and so a part of our knife throwing training is we would throw knives into each other's shields, facing each
Oh,
other.
that's fun. Yeah.
Never had any incidents with that one, but luckily we had been throwing knives for like probably 5 years
See,
before doing
I
that.
never got good at the knives. Like I was always pretty damn good at throwing axes. But for whatever reason, like the thing about like the rotation on the knife, I could never get it like right on.
Yeah.
Whereas the axe, like the first time I ever did it, I could just do it. The axe was just so
Yeah,
natural to me.
the accent, it might be in your blood.
Well, well,
But other than that, for the knives, it's different for every knife. But I have noticed that I've been throwing knives for so long now that I can feel it when I pick up a knife around where
yeah,
the
yeah.
balance point
I know
is.
it's a lot in like the weight and the length of where you're throwing
Yeah,
it, and yeah, like I've watched a bunch of knife throwing stuff. Where I'm like, okay, I was definitely not doing it right. Whereas
yeah.
the axe is pretty simple to get like the right spot on.
Yeah, and then for the knives, I had to learn how to do a rotation and a half, and how to do two rotations at the same
Mm,
distance. So you're
yeah.
literally forcing yourself to throw
Yeah,
it
well, yeah, it's in
differently as
like the
well.
flick that you give it, whether it's gonna like just
Right,
one
or the
or
lack
yeah, yeah,
thereof. And like the half rotations are by far the coolest looking.
for sure, because it just slowly
It is
goes.
barely
Yeah,
even doing anything. And that once I learned that, then the underhands became the cool. Those are by far my favorite to throw
yeah,
because the longest distance of an underhand, it looks like magic. It reminds me of Naruto. I'm a little bit of an
for sure.
anime nerd on
Yeah,
that one, but
yeah,
that one
yeah.
always
No,
reminded me of
yeah,
Naruto.
not shuriken. What are those called? Um,
Kunai.
yeah, kunai.
The
Thank you.
kunai for the little ones. But
Yeah.
the coolest knife throw was foot long knives,
Mm.
5 of them, a front flip, and then throwing them as I land. And
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
was
that's
probably
fun.
that was the coolest one in my repertoire at the time. I haven't nobody sells foot long knives. I don't know what it is with that. I haven't been able to
I'm
find
sure you
them.
can get them on Amazon
Yeah,
or at
no,
least
you can't.
Timu.
You can't. I've looked them up. I've looked them up.
Oh, even on
Comment
Timu?
with a link of where I can get some foot long throwing knives if you can find
Or
them.
I mean, we could just make some in your forge.
I mean, that's ultimately what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah.
So I just make my own.
Yeah, I need to get the forge going over here. I like they're not even that hard to build. I need to just do it.
I'll just take a picture of it. I mean, you'll see how simple it is when I take a picture of it. You'll be like,
No, no,
okay,
I've built one before. It was years
oh,
ago, but
okay,
like,
all right. But
yeah,
yeah,
I know they're not hard.
I just have fire bricks and the pipe clamps, 2 pipe
Yeah,
clamps, and then
yeah.
angle iron that I cut
Uh,
to the length of it on each corner just to hold the blocks together.
no, the one I built was like we cut it out of a propane canister
Mm.
and then lined that and
Yeah, that's another way to do it. I have
it worked super well.
I have a water tank in my garage that is the next one. That one's going to be huge.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited about the upgrade, but really I want to refine the process and get better at my hammering and do those things before I bump it to the next level.
Yeah, I know the hammering technique is like the huge part of it. I
It'll
haven't
change how
I
fast you
haven't
can
done
do
a
stuff.
ton of forging. I've done a little bit, but like most of my like ironworking was actually making like I made like some stair rails and stuff like that, and did like twisted wrought iron
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I made like a little metal wand and just practiced with the twisting, just to test out the twisting. I didn't even plan on it being a wand. But
yeah,
after I twisted it and it looked really freaking sweet, I was like, okay, that's what that is.
yeah.
but it
Well,
has
I know
the
from.
twists that go one way and then you let it cool down and then you twist it the other way, so it has
Oh
like
yeah,
a cool wave pattern that goes through it
right.
before it spirals to the end. I just wanted to
That's
get
cool.
better at making handles that had those twists in them for like fire
Oh yeah,
pokies and tools and stuff like
yeah,
that.
absolutely. Yeah, I know. Well, from the Alex Steele stuff that I watch, and then from Andrew that has done quite a bit of forging, like making like the roses, the petals and stuff, and then
Yeah.
just making the individual petals, like that. Just making a ton of those little petals is like super great practice because you get a good feel about like how to widen it out, how to draw it, and then how to
Okay.
like
Yeah.
finish it off. And I've seen like artwork done where like practicing made like 200 plus of those little pedals and then like welded them together so they make like a little stand or whatever, and
Yeah, no,
you can do a lot of cool stuff
there
with
is
it.
a lot of cool stuff to do on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the thing I want to do, like that I've just had in my head forever, is not even necessarily on the forging side but just metalworking in general, is making a like copper like fountain with like the leaves that the water drips down from one leaf to the other leaf and then hits a little pool and swirls around and then drips down on
Oh,
another
that would
leaf.
be
Like,
cool. I mean, I love
yeah,
the sound of water. So
yeah, for sure.
that's right up my alley. I would love that.
Yeah, I've had a design in my head for a long, long time and just never bothered to actually like go and buy the copper and do it because like I mean I have everything I need to do the brazing side of it. It's not hard. Like you just need a freaking torch and brazing rod.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of simpler stuff you could do on that.
Yeah, well, get out there, create some shit,
Yeah, I'll make some shit.
make life cool.
I'll bring it on my next podcast. Or wait a second, I'm going to Florida tomorrow, so I probably will not be doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad
Uh,
you're here with us.
it's been wonderful. Thanks for hanging out, and have a
Absolutely.
wonderful rest of your life if we don't see you again.